Every time that makes me smile, I think. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our assembly. It's February. January has already completely gone, and we're now in February, and it's the first day of the month today. So it's February the 1st, 2021, and it's time for another assembly, our Monday morning assembly, where we think about what we can do to make our learning even better. And I've got a really perfect story for you this morning. The story I would like to read you is called Oscar, Arabella and Ormsby. Now, do you know what types of creatures these are? Have a little look. Might look familiar, a bit like an elephant, but really furry. This book today is written by, where is it? Neil Layton, down there. The creatures, we'll find out on the first page. Oscar was a woolly mammoth, and so was Arabella. Isn't she cute? They were the best of friends. On fine sunny days, they liked to go for leafy strolls through the pine forest. Sometimes it would happen upon secluded, sunny glades. Secluded means that nobody could see them. They found somewhere to play where they were all on their own, and it was all sunny and all leafy. Ormsby also liked to go for strolls through the pine forest. Now, Ormsby is a different creature. He's a woolly rhino, and Oscar and Arabella are both woolly mammoths. Oscar wasn't awfully keen on Ormsby, but Arabella thought that he was quite fun. Oscar was good at balancing, and sometimes he would do handstands to amuse Arabella. Amuse her means he made her laugh. Oh, he likes playing around, doesn't he? Ormsby was good at balancing too, and juggling whilst performing handstands, cartwheels, backflips, and whistling a funny tune. So, Oscar was good at handstands, but Ormsby was good at handstands whilst juggling and whistling and doing backflips. If it started to snow, Oscar would put his trunk up above Arabella to keep the snow off her a little bit. Ormsby would offer to put his arm around her to keep out the drafts. I think Oscar is a little bit jealous of Ormsby. If the storm got even worse, Oscar would suggest that they get back to the herd immediately. Ormsby would say that Oscar was being a namby-pamby, and he would suggest that instead they make wonderful snow sculptures. Oscar would trumpet really loudly, and Ormsby would trumpet really loudly. Oscar would stamp his huge feet, and Ormsby would stamp his huge feet too. Oscar and Ormsby would run at each other and bash their tusks together against one another and try and flatten each other. Now, they don't sound like they're being very good friends, do they, Oscar and Ormsby? I think they're a little bit jealous of each other because they both really like being friends with Arabella, but they can't quite manage, and they're getting a bit carried away. One's tooting his horn, the other one's stamping his feet, and now they're bashing against each other. But while that happened, neither of them had noticed Arabella. She's caught in the snowstorm. She's caught in the snowstorm, and she's wandered into a cave where there's a caveman. Ooh! Oscar and Ormsby heard her cry for help, and they immediately rushed to her rescue. Together, they charged across the icy plains. Together, Ormsby knocked down a tree so they could cross the glacier, and Oscar did a handstand to help Ormsby up onto the ice cliff. And after launching hundreds of snowballs at the enemy, they both cartwheeled in to whisk Arabella away to safety. That night, they told the story of their heroic rescue and thought the details were somewhat confusing. Everyone was glad that Arabella was safe. None more so than Oscar, because Arabella was Oscar's very best special friend, and Oscar was Arabella's very best special friend. But Ormsby was their friend as well, even if they didn't get on all the time. It looks like Ormsby's showing off a little bit. Now, this is a really interesting story because, to begin with, Oscar and Ormsby, they didn't really like each other. They were in competition with each other, and they both thought that Arabella should be their best friend and not be friends with the other one. But actually, it's good to be friends with everybody. But the most important thing we can learn from this story about Oscar and Ormsby is that when you're faced with a really big problem, you can work with somebody else to work out the solution. And it might be a problem as big as your woolly mammoth being lost in the snow, or it might be something a bit smaller, like you might need help tying your shoelaces, or a little bit of help sharpening a pencil, or maybe some help with your maths. And actually, it's okay to ask somebody else and to work together. As grown-ups, one of the challenges we face all the time is that we work with other people to get jobs done. It's very unusual that we have to do jobs entirely on our own. And I think if we can learn one thing from this book, is that it's always good to work together and to not really judge people just because they can do better handstands and cartwheels than we can. So that's what I'd like you to do with your learning this week. I know my youngest daughter finds it a bit tricky asking for help. She always wants to do things on her own and that prove that she can do it herself. But sometimes, actually, it's nice to work together, to explain things and to talk things through. And that could be working with mums or dads. It could be working with your teachers in school, or it could be working with your friends. But it's really good to communicate and work together as much as you can. And that's our assembly for this morning, thinking about how we can apply that to our learning and make us better learners, because that, at the end of the day, is what we all want to do. So have a think about that this week. If you're in a bit of a tricky situation with your work or with something you can't quite do, maybe ask somebody else, maybe see if you can do it, if you can apply your thought together and come up with a fantastic solution. Right then, have a wonderful week. I look forward to going on and seeing your fabulous learning on our online learning platforms this week. Big love to everybody, and I will speak to you all by the end of the week. Be good, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.